Hello, everybody. It's Dana from Dana's Crafty Corner. How are you today, my friends? I hope you're doing well. It is a frigid and snowy day here in East Tennessee. We got a considerable amount of snow yesterday, like somewhere near a foot, actually. It's crazy. It's beautiful, but it's crazy. So I am in here with you today. All right, I have a great little project to share with you. This is actually not my idea. It was by a gal named Susan Hardy here on YouTube. And I made a couple of small modifications, but not much. She had an incredible idea, and I absolutely loved it. So this is a little stand that will hold your dies, excuse me, will hold your dies in place. While you're working, it'll keep your workspace neat and tidy, and you're not going to lose those pesky little dies. So what I like to do is I've got my die machine set up at the table, and I'm working, and I'm pulling the die off the panel here, die cutting and putting it right back on the panel. That way I always know where they are. And then because you know that I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I like to use these in my classes, so I can take this with the dies already in it, put in my kit, and then I can take it to my class and set it up next to the die machine. That way my dies don't get lost. So this is going to be a terrific addition to my classes. I cannot wait to do this and show you guys how I made it. I've actually already made a handful of them because, like I said, I'm using these for my classes now going forward. So let me show you what all you need and we'll get to it, okay? All right. Let me set this stuff aside. Okay, I have some chipboard here. You can use any kind of cardboard you want, but I actually get these in my paper pumpkin kits from Stampin' Up! Every month. And it's just the backboard. It's a nice sturdy piece of chipboard that they put all of the kit contents on and package it together. So I have a bunch of these. And it was absolutely perfect for this project. So that's what I'm using. So you will need two pieces that are the same size. And for mine, I have them at 7.5 inches by 5.5 inches. So I'm making my board to be landscape. So it'll be 7.5 by 5.5 inches, and I have two of them the same size. Okay. Then I have another piece here that measures 7.125 by 5.125. So you notice it's just slightly smaller. And that's because I want it to be able to fit calmly and quietly and safely inside my frame. So as you see from the book itself, there's the board, and it sits just inside the safe confines of the outside board, the outside book, rather. So it keeps your magnet plate safe, and it keeps your dies safe if you have them on there. Okay, and then I have a little teeny tiny strip. This one measures 7.5 by 1/4 of an inch, and this is going to be the spine of your book, so it's right here. Now, you could do, I'm not sure that I would do any less than 1/4 of an inch. I was going to say you could do 1/8 of an inch, but with the magnet sheet and the little stopper that I added on, it's pretty close to the 1/4 of an inch. I would say it's probably like 3/16 of an inch, so I wouldn't change it. Okay, so then that spine is 1/4 of an inch thick or 1/4 of an inch wide by 7.5 inches long. All right, and then you need another piece, and I have already wrapped this one, so I apologize for that. This one is going to be the stopper. Now this one can actually vary in size. I just used a scrap, so whatever you might have is all you actually need. The stopper just goes across here, and it gives your die plate a spot to stop. so it holds it upright. This will actually hold up by itself, and Miss Susan didn't put this plate on there. That's something that I added. I don't think that you would necessarily have to have one if you're just using it for your own purposes, but I get distracted and I'm flinging things around. And when I'm in my classes, I really want it to be able to stay put and stay upright for my people. So I added that little stopper plate there just to help keep it a little more sturdy. Okay, now you'll notice that my stopper plate actually doesn't go all the way across the board. Like I said, this is just a scrap that I had on hand. But if you want to make yours the same size as mine, this one is 5 3/4 by 5/8 of an inch wide. All right, so it's a really nice size, and I think it's approximately an inch off from either side, so it works out really well. Okay, so now that we have that, you're also going to need a magnet sheet. 5 by 7 size or 7 by 5 size, however you want to look at it. This is an adhesive backed magnet sheet. It just made it quicker and easier to do. I actually get my magnet sheets on Amazon. They're 8 by 10 size, and I cut them down to half the size. So I cut them down to 2 5 by 7 pieces. So I have these on hand. You can use whichever magnet sheet you want. I think these were Craftopia, maybe is the brand on Amazon. I'll try to put a link down below for you. And anyway, the adhesive on these is really good. The magnet is a fairly thick sheet. You can see, it's got a little flex, but not much. And it's a really good sturdy magnet that works very well. So I really like this one. Okay, that's all of the physical components. Now we need to go on to our contact paper. I actually bought this at the Dollar Tree. It doesn't have to be fantastic or fabulous. Miss Susan used wallpaper actually for hers. So her board is just a little bit thicker than mine. Because contact paper is super thin, but I didn't have to use additional adhesive. The adhesive on the Dollar Tree paper was just fine. Okay, so let me set those aside. You need one piece that measures 13.5 by 9.5. Okay, 13.5 by 9.5. This will give me an inch border on all the sides, okay? Because we are going to put the boards in here and then bring the edges over to get it a nice finished edge on the outer edges of the book. So 9.5 or 13.5 by 9.5. Sorry about that. Okay, and then the next one is 11.25 by 7.25. This is going to be the inside. So essentially we're going to sandwich our pieces. We'll have the outside piece here, the flaps will fold over, and this is going to clean it up really nice on the inside. All right. Then you'll also need a piece that measures 8 by 6. This is an inch bigger all the way around than our magnet sheet. So what this is going to do is it's going to give us just a little bit of a border on each of the 4 sides of the magnet board. And then we'll put this over the top to finish up the inside of it and make it look pretty. So this will cover the little edges of this right here. Okay. And then you're also going to need a strip that measures 7 inches by 3 inches, and you're going to score and fold it in half with the design facing each other. Okay, this is going to be the hinge for our magnet card. So it's actually right here underneath the magnet card. It matches with our contact paper, so we don't have to worry much about it showing too much. And it just holds our magnet card beautifully. Okay, it makes a really nice hinge. All right, so we have that. And then you will also need a piece that's approximately 1 inch bigger than your strip. So in this case, my strip was 5 3/4 by 5/8, and this scrap piece of contact paper is 6 1/4 by 1. So it just gives me a little bit of a border all the way around to bring it over to the sides. This is not an exact amount. You just want to make sure that you can tuck the sides in all the way around it and that they will actually tuck far enough over that your adhesive holds them down. Okay, so don't get too hung up on the size of that one. All right, now that we have that, let's go ahead and get started assembling our book. The first thing I want to do is take my 13.5 by 9.5 sheet of contact paper and turn it wrong side up. And I'm going to kind of lay out, and this is all really rough guesstimation. You do not have to be perfect. The only thing you need to do is that you'll want your strip to be in line with your bases. So you'll want the edges straight here and here, and you'll want the same amount of space on either side of it. Now the good thing is that these are pretty forgiving, so there's that. You don't have to be super exact, but just relatively close. Okay, now what I did to cover it and make it a little bit easier on myself is I slid, once I had this figured out and it looks pretty good, I'm going to slide this out. I'm going to slide this over so that it lines up right about where I want this one to start. And then I'll take this piece off. I'm going to hold this piece down because this shows me where my opening is. And, you know, there are probably 1,000,000,001 different ways and probably even easier ones than what I'm doing, but this is just what I did, okay? And then you're going to peel the backing off one side of your contact paper. Okay, and just gently pull it off. And I'm still holding this board in the same spot. Okay, so I'm holding it right up against. I know that shifted, but that's okay, it's right there. All right. Now, granted, there are all these cool lines that you could be using and say, you know what, let's go here. I'm just being hard on myself. I'm making it difficult, but you do you. You just want to separate the contact paper until you get right about where that board lines up. Okay. All right, so there's that. And then this is where this first panel is going to go. So I'm looking at my paper to see that I'm relatively lined up top to bottom, and I'm giving it a good press. Okay, now then, pull that off, and I want this piece to be relatively close but not touching. Not touching, please. Okay, there we go. And you want to kind of check to make sure that you can actually fold your book up, so that's really important. All right. And then here, I put it up next to that piece. Make sure that my ends are lined up. Okay, Get off me. And then lay it down. So that way we have a nice space for our binding. Okay. And then from here, we can flip it over, check to make sure it's smooth and there are no ripples, and we're good. Okay. All right. Now that we have the background, we're going to cut the corners off so that we have mitered edges. Now I'm going to leave maybe a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch here and just cut, and this isn't exact either, but just cutting across the corner like so. Okay. And I'm going to do that on all 4 corners. Okay, next. And again, this doesn't have to be exact because most of it is going to be covered up with the inside panel. We just don't want to have too much bulk on the corners. Okay. All right, so now I can throw this away. All right. Does not matter which side you start on. It's entirely up to you. I am going to start on the long side though, just because that's what I've got there. And I'm going to bring it up. I'm hugging that side. I want to make sure that it really comes all the way up to the edge of my board. Okay. Go. And if you have a scraper, that's always handy. You can come in and really burnish it down so it's not going to come off. Okay. I'll flip it around and do the same thing on this side. Now you don't want to pull too hard because contact paper will actually stretch a little bit. It's kind of, it's a plastic, so if you pull it too hard, it'll stretch, and it might make it a little difficult for you to get it on the board nicely. Also, it kind of reduces the integrity of your contact paper, and you don't want that. Okay, so we'll check that just to make sure we're still good, and it appears that we are. So now we'll come in and we're going to do the ends. Now I'm going to give it just a little tuck right here. So I'm just kind of tucking that little edge right there onto the corner, and then I'll bring the side around. And all that's doing is just helping me finish my corner just a little bit nicer. Okay. And then this side, same thing. We're just kind of tucking just that little spot right there. Just give it a little tuck and then fold it over. Okay, now then we have the base of our book. Isn't that cool? Super simple. And you can see now this helps you get a nice finished edge around the inside of your book. And then we're going to take this piece and go right over the top of that so that it cleans it up nicely. And it looks like, there we go, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of this backing. Well, if I can get it off. This is probably the hardest part of the whole project, is separating the background piece from the foreground piece. Separate the back from the front. Come here, friend. Holy cow. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. All right. It's really struggling with me here. Come on. Come on, come on. We want to get done here. Oh, this weather is so dry, it's drying out my skin. And of course, playing with paper doesn't help either. All right, so I'm gonna pull back just a little bit, okay? And I'll give it a little crease here just to make it more manageable for control's sake. And I will put right about where I feel is middle. And I'm gonna press it down, okay? Doing this tiny little bit gives you a lot more control over the contact paper, so you don't have to worry as much, all right? Now that I've got that section down, I can start pulling it nice and easy, and I can take my scraper and just give it a nice even burnish, just like so. Okay, nice and easy. Got a little spot right there, but that's okay. There we go. That's what the burnish is for. All right, and keep moving. Fabulous, fabulous. All right. I am taking my time here, going nice and slow so I don't get any issues. I've still got a very smooth surface and I want to keep it that way. So here we go. Just keep moving, keep moving. There we go. And you see that it's cleaning up nice and beautifully here. Nice and beautiful. There we go. Fabulous. Okay, now we want to give it just a little bit of a crease right there where that joint is on either side. So that way it kind of tucks in nicely. Okay, let me get my ruler, and I want to be careful. I don't want to cut it, but I do want to burnish just a little. There we go. There, that's better. All right, so now we have our base and we've got the inside here. So now we need to get our magnet card done. We've got this panel. This is the 7 1/8 by 5 1/8 inch piece, and we're going to take the backing off of our 8 by 6 contact paper for the backing. Okay, and then we'll just lay this piece down approximately center. Now you'll notice that this one doesn't have as much of a border. It's just because I didn't waste any. You could do a whole inch like the other if you want to, but it's not going to be necessary. Alright, so I want to make sure I'm going over the back side and burnishing it down smooth and straight. I don't want it to have any ripples anywhere. Okay, and then just like we did with the other, I will snip the corners. Okay, just like so. And as you can see, I am not doing any kind of measuring or anything like that. It does not have to be perfect. It just needs to be mitered. All right, now, same as before, I'll bring this side over. Okay, there we go. All right, and then this side over. And there we go. And then again, just that tiny little tuck right there on the corner. And then bring the other edges in. Okay. Very nice. Nice square corners. Beautiful. All right, and last one. Tuck just a little and bring it in. There we go. All right, so now we have our magnet board, and the next thing we need to do is put our magnet sheet on, and you can see that the magnet sheet actually finishes up all of the unfinished areas on the magnet card. So we're going to try to get this relatively straight here. I think that's pretty good. Again, burnishing down as you go just to make sure that you don't end up with any bubbles. You want a good solid contact with that card. There we go. All right, and that is solid. Like that's sturdy. It's not going anywhere. All right. Now then, the next thing that we need to do is put the magnet card in. I'm going to have to fiddle with this piece just a tiny bit because it's still, just have to give it a bit more love there. There we go. That's better. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take your folded over piece of contact paper, and with the folded edge out, you're going to line it up right there near the top edge of the paper or the card. Now you're going to leave a little bit, maybe a 1/16 of an inch or so, and then this piece is going to come right here and attach. I could actually do an 1/8 of an inch and bring it in just a little bit more. Okay, so it'll have a little over an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. I am going to take the backing off just half of it for now. Come here. Holy cow. All right. All right. And now then, I can go this way, or I can fold it over. So now I've got my backing showing on this side, but it's not sticky on this side. And I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to have to lift this part up so that I can see it a little bit better. Okay. Just like that. Alright, give it a good press down. Okay, now we can go ahead and peel that part off and then line up our magnet card. Okay. Give it a nice burnish. Come over, burnish it down really good. Now the way that I have it put on here, and it's just a bit from the edge, this is actually not going to lay totally flat without lifting here. I don't care about that because I'm not going to be leaving it that way. I want it to be just off the edge because I want it to be tucked safely inside the book. So I am doing it this way instead of it being right on the edge. So that way, when I close it, it's got this little border right here. Okay. And then as I close it up, it is now securely protected within the book. Okay. All right, now then, for this strip, you will do the same thing as you did for the magnet card. So you'll peel the backing off of the contact paper, you'll lay the chipboard down in the middle, cut the corners, and then fold it over and give it a good burnish so that it looks like this. Okay? Now then, I'm going to take some of my Stampin' Up! Tear and Tape because I absolutely love this double-sided tape. It's super, super strong and durable, and it's easy to tear off of the roll, hence its name, Tear and Tape. Okay, and I'm going to put 2 strips here, one for either side, so it's almost totally covered on the back. Okay, just like that. Give it a good burnish. Really want this stuff to hold. And then I'll pick the backing off. There we go. How on earth did I end up with 2 pieces? That is so weird. That is so weird. Okay. I don't know what I did there, but that's cool. Okay. Let me grab that. That was so weird. Okay. There we go. Well, sorry about that. It didn't even stick. What have I got going on? This is so strange, y'all. This is so strange. It's my tape and it's so weird. Is there another piece there? Did I put 3 strips of backing and not even realize it? Holy cow. Okay, that was super weird. Alright, so I've got the backing off. Now it's sticky. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to go ahead and put this near the edge, similar to where the magnet card is on the other side. And I'm just lining up in the middle on either side here. And I think I'm going to turn it around just so there's like the darker flower and the darker flower here, instead of being so close together. Okay, there we go. All right. That's it right there. Okay, so there we have it, friends. That is done. Isn't that cute? And then you just have your nice little magnet board here. It holds up next to the stopper so that you don't have to worry about it sliding closed. And it can tuck away. And the best thing is, just like with this one, I have my dies for my next class put on here, and I can just close it up, stick this in my tote box that has all of my supplies, and when I get to class, I just pop it up and it's ready to go. I don't have to worry about anything. So it makes class prep super easy. It makes your workstation nice and tidy and super helpful. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. If you make this project, leave a comment down below and let me know how you are using yours. And I will see you all on the next video, my friends. Have a good day. Bye!